Okay, Lasha from Royal Pushback Aftermath. We're doing a summary of the Luke Perry Us article. I bought the magazine. It was almost $9, and I realized I could have gotten the same information on Google. It's just that every time I turn on Google, guess who's on the front all the time? Harry and Meghan, all the time. I was laughing at the floor when you noticed the error in Us Weekly. Yeah, in Us Weekly, I couldn't believe that they wrote that the name of the book was called, that's a good point. They called it, what did they call it? Oh, Friends, Lovers, and the Terrible Thing. It's called The Big Terrible Thing. And you know what the big terrible thing about all of this is? He misled us the entirety of the book. So what I'm doing right now is I've gone through the book and I'm going to highlight what I call BS. And the other part I was going to say, Trevor, is when I was reading the book and he was talking about the canyons and he was talking about why me, and he went on about it for 8 pages. 8 pages. And I thought, you're a suckhole. You are a big baby. You are whining and whining and whining. And then he talked about this girl who he calls Erin. And it turns out that she was a sponsor and he was abusive to her. And now she won't comment on anything because she's a sponsor and she's keeping her oath. She's keeping her word. So good on her. Reporters will do anything to get into the business of stars. But you know what I believe? If you're a movie star or a celebrity and you have a big platform like Sean Atwood, Andrew Gold, Candace Owen, no matter what political side you are in the States, those are excellent channels. Do you know that Candace Owen has more participants, subscribers, than Chris Cuomo from CNN, who was actually exonerated in the end in reference to him being a lawyer and his brother being the governor, and the governor was exonerated as well. And this video missed my introduction, so I'm doing it again.
Thank you for joining. It means so much to me. Moon Dancer and Trevor and Lambert and J.W. Breeze and you, Ray and Storm _ Jeff and Lisa and Sandra and so true. When you join this channel, you're written on the mirror. We'll always have something fun to do.
Okay? I know, and you know why I couldn't do that today, Trevor? Look at my nails. My nails, this needs to be documented. My nails are too long, Trevor. They're too long. So yeah, but I can take them on and off because I need to do the dishes today. Okay, anyway, somebody asked me what I did for a living. Home care. In the litter box, Jules. Okay, so here we are with Matthew Perry. For a long time, I tried to find just about anything and anybody to blame for the mess I kept finding myself in. May I say something about this mess that he kept finding himself in? he kept putting himself in there. But on the other hand, don't forget, Lasha, to talk about the sleeping pills he was given when he was little, and about your fever when you were a child and what you went through. So everybody remember the initial SI. In the comments, drop in a 1 if you think he's been given too much of a hard time, or drop in a 2 if you think that movie stars have responsibility when they reach that level of stardom, especially coming from the biggest series on television, Friends. I've spent a lot of life in hospitals, and the reason I read this book is because I thought I can relate to it. So remind me of anorexia. Oh, sorry. Remind me of anorexia and hospitals. So where's my book? Where's my book? Also, drop in the comments, do you know anything about anorexia, or don't you? Okay. And this is wonderful if you have ADHD. It really is. Okay. So SI, and also about, you know, spending a lot of life in hospitals. Somebody asked me if I was left-handed or right-handed. I'm ambidextrous, okay? So I write with both. Okay. Okie doke. Being in hospitals makes even the best of us self-pitying. Self-pitying. And the whining I was talking about for 8 pages. I couldn't even read anymore. And the reason I interjected and started talking about the new Netflix series, Living in the Snow, and it is a Spanish movie and it's English voiceover. It's based on the 1990s movie Alive, whom Ethan Hawke starred in. And there was a book written, Alive, by the survivors. Okay? I'll leave it at that. When I'm finished the Matthew Perry book, I'm continuing to dive into Annalise Michael. The 3rd book I'll be reading is The Empire of Pain and Frances Farmer. Or should I read Frances Farmer first? Tell me which book you want me to read first. The Empire of Pain, Frances Farmer, or I'm reading The Exorcism of Annalise Michael, Matthew Perry. I was going to read Primo Levi's Surviving Auschwitz, which I think is a very important book, but let me know if you want me to read The Empire of Pain or the Frances Farmer book first. Drop it in the comments, or this book channel will never move forward. And I'm getting better at it. And June, thank you for sharing with me about the fanatics. Okay, the self-pitying. The reason I brought up Survivor is because they survived something that is unbelievably human survival. It happened in 1972. I've spoken of it before, and every time I've talked about this. In 1972, 24, 25, 30 young, healthy, 200-pound men got on a plane, and the pilots weren't good, and it was cheap because it was a cheap plane. Okay? And if anybody wants to know why I have, forget it, Lasha. So at any rate, they flew over the Andes to get to Chile, and the plane crashed, and they had to commit cannibalism. Do you have ADHD, Trevor? Okay, well tell me if this helps. Tell me how I'm doing, if you can understand. You tell me. I love your comments. I read them all the time. If I do a video, I don't watch it anymore. I just read the comments, and if there aren't comments, then I know it's not a good video. I cut my own hair, so I've noticed that, yeah, anyways. My friend Sandy told me not to go on camera when I roll out of bed, and sometimes I have done. I'm not gonna lie about it. And I've got a red t-shirt under here. It was my Auntie Margaret's. You should go to my video, under videos, and it has my Auntie Margaret there. And anyways, the guys in Chile had to live in the snow for almost 3.5 to 4 months, and they had to commit cannibalism, and they were extremely, extremely Catholic. How do you explain how you survived there? How? And when they find, do you know that they were 3 miles away from where they had to go, and nobody found them? Start writing all of this on I wonder what you look like. It's so funny. A lot of people do their YouTube channels without, I'm just writing you back. They start their YouTube channels and they show their faces, but you don't know what anybody else looks like unless the icon has a face. If you watch, it doesn't matter. So how did this, so I'm just comparing the two traumas. So I found Matthew Perry to be very pouty, and these men survived a miracle, and only 12 or so survived. That was my point. I find myself thinking back through the life I lived, turning each moment of it this way and that, like a confusing find in an archaeological dig. Speaking of archaeological dig, I'm putting up a very articulate video about Steven Avery and this case. All I want to know is, where is the blood splatter? Do you know how much blood would have been lost if he slit her throat? Does blood burn? Because if blood doesn't burn, they would have found blood in the bones. Please, I just thought of that now. The other thing I thought that was funny, and anyways, the other thing I thought was funny, I was talking about, this is my story, and I said, I swear, I swear on the, when you go to court, and I swear, so help me God. I don't think you say that God actually, there's no room for God in the justice system. It's so fucked up. It really is. The bureaucracy in this world blows my mind. Okay, I'll get back to Matthew Perry. However, what I was talking about is, I said, why do people say, yes, I'll tell the truth, so help me God? Why would you need God's help if you're telling the truth? I don't understand that. At any rate, I always understood where the real pain was coming from. I always knew I was in physical pain at the moment. The answer was, well, you can't drink that much, asshole. I don't find that funny. I find that at first I was trying to find it funny because he was Chandler and everybody loved him. And I was trying to be angel and devil's advocate. So I'm going to try to do that here. For a start, I wanted to blame my loving, well-intentioned parents. I didn't know that he came from a famous father and a famous mother. Is Hollywood like nepotism? Does anybody listen to NT Lawyer? Let's go back to Friday. Do we really have to? I'm not going back to Friday the 66th when he was born. I'm not doing it. His mother gave him, and his dad was gone, and they were divorced, and yada, 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 and he was on the tennis thing in Ottawa, and, you know, it was an uncomparable, unaccomplished minor, but a pro by now. I flew to LA to get to know my father. I was so terrified. Even something about Hollywood might not be able to soothe me, but soon I will see the lights of the city and have a parent once more. How fucking old is he? Look, I've had daddy issues since I was 52. Money helps. If I had gone to therapy when I was a little kid, I wouldn't have gone through what I did. New York. The first thing I did when I got home, no, he's talking about his aspirated bowel and his ECGE and something that else that wasn't livable. Just like Annalise Michaels, epileptic, schizophrenic, anorexic. Epileptic, anorexic, schizophrenic. Epileptic, anorexic, schizophrenic. Analeptic, exoranic, schizophrenic. Start spreading the news. We're in New York today. He was born in 1966. He blew his life away. I'm sorry to say, it's the truth. Okay, so he comes back from an aspirated bowel, which is no joke because my father had ulcerated colitis. The first thing he did is he smoked. Okay, that's great. So then he was no longer in pain because he was given all the painkillers and all of this, Oxycontin, here we go. This is what killed him. You know, that Sackler family, this is why I want to read The Empire of Pain. I was in a wheelchair for a year because a doctor didn't say anything. He didn't mean to do it on purpose. And this is why I get mad at Matthew Perry. He had money, nepotism in Hollywood, a chance on Friends just to be himself, which is an asshole. His words, asshole, okay? And then, what happened to me in Canada? If it happened to me in the States, I would have been maimed forever. The surgeon that I had at the Royal Victoria Hospital, initials MK, he should be in jail. He didn't say anything, not once. And he blamed me for being a slow healer. But when I had the 3 corrective surgeries, which means I had five in total, he put the hardware when I broke my femur, which is a very simple operation. And he took 2 nails, the size that used to build this house, into each side of my knee. And I'm maimed. He maimed me. And my leg was straight out. And I asked him why. He once took my leg and tried to bend it, and I was screaming in pain. And you know what he said to me? Where do you get that stuff? I said, what stuff? He's talking about pain medication. I said, you know what? I said, do you remember giving me a prescription for Percocet? And I told you I didn't need it because I had medication at home. Do you remember that? And he went, and I said, why can't my leg bend? I know you've been here before. What the fuck does anxiety have to do with my leg? I didn't realize, looking back 6 years, how vulnerable I was. That motherfucker. Oh my God. And that's why I'm doing this change.org. If you want to know, go to change.org, search Lasha Rodjanko. And because of all of you, wait a minute. And I frickin' mean this. And I'm a middle-of-the-road singer. I'm a hack guitar player, but I mean this. Because of you, I never would have started this YouTube channel. Because of you, I wouldn't have put my story out there. Because of you, I can dance and sing without fear. You took away the tears. You are the reason. You are the reason I get up every day. Sleep through the night. Some nights. Seriously, all of you brought 82 signatures up to 92 signatures. You know, I bow my head in being humble, and am I wrong when I say that YouTubers want? Is there any difference between me and them? I don't think so, but I want to give back. So if you want me to read your free Russian gypsy cards, I will. It costs you nothing, because I wasted so much money when I was vulnerable about my knee. Oh my God. I was in a wheelchair for a year alone. I called his office. The College of Physicians said I didn't, and I sent them the proof from Rogers. I was railroaded, just like the victims from Larry Nassar and Virginia Giuffre, and good for her. See, I can't talk about her, I get mad. Let's go back to Matthew. And that's why I wanted to do this. I thought it was a real story. I was never put on Oxycontin, but I watched the judiciary hearing, Purdue Pharma, The Empire of Pain is the most intriguing work I will ever get into. I swear to you. And all this is going. By February 1st, the studio will be upstairs. It'll be bright, happy, and lovely. I promise you, if you tune in tomorrow, every day gets better than the next. And I know I will succeed. I know I will succeed. Okay, Matthew. And if you get bored, just slide the line through. And if you liked any part of this video, could you take a nanosecond of your life and hit like or subscribe? Okay, so we're in New York. He's on Oxycontin because of these injuries. His mother also gave him sleeping pills when he was a youngster, which could have caused brain damage, because back then in 1966, they didn't know these things. And because his parents were divorced, he was going back and forth visiting his parents. I come from a divorced family, and at this age, I don't understand why they weren't all friends. Don't get it. Anyway, so 80 milligrams a day of Oxycontin, I believe that. I had conned, I believe that. He just said it right there. Them into giving me wasn't working anymore, and I needed more. When I asked the doctors for more, they said no. When I called the drug dealer, he said yes. Now all I had to do was figure a way out to get down 40 floors from my $20 million penthouse apartment without Aaron spotting me. I bought the place, I swear to God, because Bruce Wayne, he swears to God, because Bruce Wayne lived in such an apartment in the dark night. Over the next month, I attempted to do this 4 times. I was caught. You guessed it, 4 times. I was horrible at it. Well, okay, he's being honest there. He's being honest. After the, he goes on about his bowel again. Like, did he do anything to try to change it? I was whining and winching and the anger was eating me up about this surgeon. This is a point, okay, about his bowel. Okay, this is the point. If I was a millionaire, I could change the legislation in 2 seconds because politicians are puppets. But I need 500,000 signatures on change.org so that the Ontario, what moves you? Are you an empathetic person? Are you a narcissist? What means the most to you? Quality of life, other people, yourself, money? Are you a patriot? Do you think that the Ontario taxpayers should have paid for me to live? Do you? Do you? Do you? I don't think so. Who should have paid? The College of Physicians. And I will change it so that when a surgeon keeps his mouth shut and doesn't say anything and is complicit because he's afraid of losing his job, he's a villain. If he spoke truth, he'd be a fucking hero, Michael Corcola. I'm not scared anymore. And he's complaining about his bowel over and over and over and winching and whining. If I was a millionaire, I would set up a charity in my name, no executives, and I would give physical money to people. None of this, oh my gosh, people get too big for their britches. You know, I ordered something on a YouTube channel, and it's $5 for me to go pick it up because it's at a warehouse somewhere in Hamilton, and I'm phoning the YouTuber and I'm saying, no, you pay it. In the past, I go, oh, who cares? No, I call BS on that. After the explosion of my oh my God, I can't even. And then he talks about smoking again and peanut butter, and I hadn't had it for a long time. And then he went to rehab to quit Oxycontin and quit smoking. But once he got to rehab, they gave him Suboxone for the detox, so that wasn't that bad. Oh, and oh my God, he goes on and on and on. Another generation shot to hell. You know, basically, he had, look, I can't even anymore. This just pisses me off. I thought it would be real. This is where I'm leaving off. I have to go right now. I'll be back in a few hours, and I'm going to do this. Mark my words. And tonight I'm reading Annalise with my introduction. I'm putting change.org and links down at the bottom, leaving it till the end, and I'm diving right in because it's the content and the meat and potatoes that matter. And God bless all of you who took the time out of your lives to watch this. It means the world to me. And also, I do want to say, Lasha Rajenko, there's 55 souls. L&L Soul Sisters, I can't upload anymore because I changed phones. There were 266 souls, and there's 180 souls. So really, I'm really proud of that. Bye, Trev. Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Okay.